Hey there, everybody. PTPOP here, leading you out of the rabbit hole, one grain of truth at a time. And today I ask the question, are the rules made up? Is the system rigged? We're going to jump right into it today. This is a sweet, sweet topic. So I had a little live broadcast this morning where I talked about how everything seems weird and different and how people don't seem the same as they once were. And some of my diatribe was inspired by this woman here and her channel. Let me give you a plug for her channel, the Midlife Anti-Crisis. Great name for a channel. I love the name of her channel. Midlife Anti-Crisis, which is a play on words, Antichrist. And I'm going to play some of what she has to say, and then I'm going to go on to another video here that I happen to like. But have any of you noticed that life just doesn't seem the same anymore? I don't know if it's COVID. Oh, I can't say that word. Now it's going to get blocked. YouTube's going to spank me, COVID. Oh, I said COVID again. I meant YouTube. Spank me, YouTube. As I drink and spill water all over my face. But hey, what is this down here? Is this a napkin? A napkin, the deep bowels of my desk. And everything seems weird today. Nobody seems the same. You walk into a store, people don't know how to communicate or talk. Everyone's oblivious. People seem to be speeding this way and that in their cars, don't know where they're going in such a big hurry. Nobody knows how to talk. Nobody knows how to critically think. But I think the beauty of all this is I think many people are starting to wake up. They're starting to realize that it's all a play, and we're just participants in this play. So let's jump into this midlife anti-crisis. She says, are you tired of following the rules, doing everything right, and still feeling unfulfilled? And I'm going to start with this. Let me blow the screen up good and big.
They don't tell us this in school, and most people go through their whole lives without realizing it, but the rules are made up. And everybody is faking it. We are living in a time when more and more people are starting to wake up. They're questioning the system, noticing that the rules we've been taught to follow are arbitrary. They're often harmful. They're realizing that the system is rigged and it was never designed to help us thrive. You can feel it in the air, a quiet revolution. People are walking away from jobs, relationships, and roles that no longer serve them.
This is so true, man. It is a quiet revolution. You say you want a revolution, man, and it's happening. You do not have to have a revolution with guns and bombs. You can do it just by your actions, your words. And I think this is true. Many people, myself included, we are seeing how rigged the system is, and we're like, enough, this is ridiculous. And I think a lot of people are seeing it now, and they're waking up and they're going, hey, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to play in your sandbox. I'm going to go someplace else. And there's lots of expats that have moved to other countries, meaning leaving the United States and gone to other places to live. You can see their channels all over YouTube. They're talking about there's a whole different way of thinking, a whole different way of life in other countries, where you're treated differently, where they think differently. Here in this country, everything is fueled and propped up by the media and Hollywood, and they tell you how to think, they tell you how to live, they tell you how to breathe, they tell you how to walk and talk, and they tell you what to strive for, what to dream for.
There's a deep knowing rising up that says, it doesn't have to be this way. This video is for anyone who's starting to question the script and wondering what might be possible if you stopped following the rules that were never real to begin with. You might be living your entire life trying to follow rules that were never written with your well-being in mind. So let's talk about where those rules come from, what happens when you stop following them, and why now is the perfect time to start living life on your own terms. The sooner the better.
So I think she's completely right. A lot of the things that we follow in this country are designed to get you to act and react in a certain way, to follow a certain script. For instance, as a guy, you're taught from a very young age that you're supposed to pursue women. and that you're taught through Hollywood and through sitcoms that women will fall in love with you if you're a rock star or a baseball player or a star athlete, or you have clever words or you're funny. And they portray in movies as if women are going to get all horned up, want to jump your bones just because you had quick-witted sense of humor or you drive a certain type of car. So guys spend most of their lives based off of other things too, including pornography, that women are objects, that women are to be pursued, women are to be gathered like physical material goods. They're to be conquered and conquested. And I spent a good majority of my life pursuing women, trying to find this fantasy woman. And it turned out it was all a lie. It was all this weird, demented thing. And life has never for me been anything like in the movies. But she explains this in more detail.
From the time we're young, we're told certain things.
Activate.
Well, we're not told to activate.
Gaming. Activate games. Features a lot.
Be a good girl.
I was never told to be a good girl.
Make people comfortable. Work hard. Be nice. Don't complain. And along the way, we absorb a set of unspoken rules. Get married by a certain age or you'll end up old and alone.
Oh, yeah. Especially as a guy. I didn't get married till I was 38. And I had my friend Brian and I, we'd go to the bars, try to pick up women and stuff. And we were both, lamenting that we were older. We were in our 30s. We still hadn't gotten married or found anybody. And we were hanging out a lot together, doing all kinds of stuff together. And we were joking that people think we were gay. And, now I look back on it, it was funnier. It's funnier now than it was then because it was really, we were both kind of like, oh my God, they're going to think we're gay. We're a couple because I'm always over at your condo or one or the other was at their condo. And what difference does it make today though? You're told if you're not married and you're a guy, you're not married by the time you're 25, there must be something wrong with him. He ain't married. Yeah.
Stay in that job even if it drains you, or you'll end up poor and living under a bridge. Don't speak up about what you really want, or you'll be labeled difficult, unstable, or selfish. Follow the plan. School, job, house, marriage, kids, career, retirement.
Yep.
Or you're a failure.
Yep.
What do all of these rules have in common? They are enforced by fear. Fear of being judged, fear of being rejected, fear of not fitting in. But who created these rules and who actually benefits from them? Spoiler alert, it's not you or me. In fact, it's mostly people we don't even know. The people at the top, the people in power. But that's another video. These rules are often rooted in outdated systems. Patriarchy, for one, capitalism, tradition, religion, and other forms of dogma.
Now, see, when I watch this woman, I'm trying to see if she's reading a teleprompter. It looks like she is. So I don't know if these are her original words. This is something where I get suspicious of people like this. Because your average person that I meet in the street or that you meet in the street isn't quite this deep. She may have used her own ideas to and put them into ChatGPT and have them shape them so they're a little more convincing. Also, there is a twinge of communism in her words. I'm not a big, expert on communism and socialism, but there is a twinge of anti-capitalism in her message here. But if you can get beyond that message and think about what she's saying, a lot of what we've been told here in a capitalistic society in the United States is all a lie. They get us chasing after rainbows. They get us chasing after the wind. We spend all of our life trying to catch the wind. And then we get to this age where we're like, oh shit, I just wasted my whole life chasing after women, chasing after cars, chasing after careers, chasing after superstardom, our 15 minutes of fame. And then you wake up and you go, oh, it was all a lie. Your life is gone. They got your money through taxes. They got your life is gone. And what have you got left? Like right now, I'm almost 60. What do I have left? Maybe 20 years? Maybe I got 30 years. I don't know. The last 25 years of my life went by like that. Boom. Gone. Boom. And what's left? I wasted a good portion of my adult life in college and working in horrible jobs. But I don't know what the motive of her message is. I don't know who she is. I don't know her political affiliations. But if you can kind of steer clear of maybe your tainted views on where she may be coming from and listen to her, she makes a lot of sense.
They were not designed to make you happy. They were designed to keep society predictable and comfortable and to keep the masses under control. The day that you stop asking for permission is the day your real life begins. And I say that as someone who followed all the rules. I got married young because that's what good girls were supposed to do. Otherwise, I would have been cohabitating with my boyfriend and been a disgrace to my parents.
You would have been a whore, a slut.
Well, that was a mistake. So then for years, I achieved degrees, raised my kids alone.
And what's even funnier is the churches that will label you with a scarlet letter of whore, slut, because you're sleeping with your boyfriend outside of marriage or living with him in sin. These are the same men that run the churches that are all diddling our little boys and girls behind closed doors during Bible studies.
Alone and determined, I invested in a little real estate and I built a successful career in healthcare. And for a while, I was proud of it. But under the surface, I was exhausted, disappointed, disconnected, disillusioned, unfulfilled. Walking away from that job felt a little terrifying, not because of the anxiety that I've always had around money, but because of what other people might think.
Janet, when's the last time?
When you go off script like that, people...
So let me ask you this, okay? So I'm going to leave these commercials in because this kind of contradicts her message. This is where I get so confused by these people that at first draw me in and make me think they're really thinking about us and us trying to walk away quietly through a quiet revolution without guns and bombs. She's monetized her video, which contradicts her entire message, which is anti-capitalist. Let's take a look at this woman's channel. She's got 16,000 subscribers, and this video was posted 11 days ago. She's already got 54,000 views. Okay? It came up in my feed today. I don't know why it came up, but think about this. She's talking about how the system is rigged, but she's making money off of our misery. So she's part of it. If you people really want a revolution, stop trying to cash in on it. Okay? She's cashing in on the revolution. Demonetize your channel. Don't get monetized. Put everything out there for free. If you're real and you really want to help people, sincere, you're not going to be passing the basket for a handout.
Get uncomfortable and they'll project their fears onto you. When I tell people that I'm not looking for another relationship, which has been true for at least the past 10 years, they assume I must be lonely and bitter. When I started a YouTube channel, left my career, and took a...
I don't know how she knows that people think and can perceive her as being lonely and bitter. That's assuming a lot. People usually don't come up to you and say, hey, you must be lonely and bitter. This doesn't happen. It's not like in the movies. This sounds a bit delusional. Thoughts are a bit grandiose. You know, people may be thinking that, but you don't know that. Nobody that you know personally or a stranger especially is going to come up to you and say, hey, you must be lonely and bitter because you don't want a relationship. That's stretching it quite a bit.
A solo road trip across the country in my minivan. People wondered if I was okay. Surely I must be losing it. Now that I'm choosing a quieter, slower, healthier, and less conventional life, I've noticed people pulling away, not out of malice, but maybe because my choices challenge their assumptions.
Well, sure, they're going to pull away. They're going to pull away because you're not going down the traditional straight and narrow path that everybody else has gone down, but they also may perceive you as mentally unstable because you're living in a van. While I don't perceive that to be that bad, if you've made the conscious choice to do it, and you're just traveling and sightseeing allegedly, you're just trying to take a different pathway. But My question about all of these people that you see here on YouTube that are living out of their cars, how do they afford to just drop everything, and just drive around the country? I mean, your car breaks down, you need gas money, you need food. She had to have socked away quite a bit of cash to be able to do this. You have to think about this stuff critically. How did this lady end up living in her car, luxuriously traveling around the country to sightsee, to live a quieter, slower life? You need money. You need healthcare. You can't get by without it. If you want to keep living, you need healthcare. If you want to keep living, you need food.
Massive reinvention makes people uncomfortable, and this isn't the first time that I've completely changed everything. Here's the thing. Your life is not a group project. You don't owe anyone an explanation for living in a way that feels true to you. So let's be honest. We're all walking around trying to look like we have it together. We post the highlight reels. We say, I'm fine, when we're falling apart inside. We keep chasing the next milestone, thinking maybe that'll be the thing that finally makes us feel worthy. But underneath it all, most people are confused, burnt out, ashamed of how much time they've spent chasing approval instead of fulfillment.
I don't know about that, but I do agree with her that they send us down a lot of weird errant paths, a lot of wild goose chases. You spend your whole life chasing after something. As I said before, you're chasing after the promotion at work. You're chasing after notoriety on YouTube. You're chasing after the girl with a nice backside at the coffee shop. You're chasing, and you never get those things. And once you get those things, they're never as exciting or as glamorous or as sexy as you think. But the thing here that I don't understand with her is, again, she seems to have a message that's slanted in a certain direction, and I'm not certain what her point is because she's not providing any solutions so far. Not all of us have the luxury of just jumping in our van and going living down by the river and sightseeing. It just doesn't work that way. Life isn't like that. Trust me, I've thought about it. I watch all these channels where the people have remodeled their cars and turned them into campers. Guys, I have a hard enough time just getting out of a regular bed in the morning with a bad back and a variety of other health issues. How am I going to lay and sleep in a Subaru Forester and get up and go pee in the morning? It doesn't make any sense. So you've got to question, like, where is she coming from? And is it based in reality?
Everybody is faking something.
That's true. I think we're all faking it. I think her message, if it's sincere and pure, is true. I think your average person that you see that lives next door to you or on Facebook or on TikTok, you're seeing the highlight reel of their lives. They're smiling into the camera. The minute the camera is put in front of you and you're a little kid, the photographer or your mom or your dad says, "Smile, Billy, smile. Put a big smile on your face." And they put they put an Oingo Boingo in front of you. And you go, "Ah." And I think most people have learned to do that. So when you see their highlight reel on Facebook or TikTok, they're basically putting on a show. I live in a neighborhood of mostly retired people. And I can tell you almost every single person around us is going through something really bad right now. Almost everybody. And there's illness problems, there's work problems, there's all kinds of things. Yet when you see them on the sidewalk, they're having a great time. It's all a show. They're putting on a facade because that's what you're told to do. You're told to smile. Keep moving forward. Don't complain.
And no one wants to be the first one to say it out loud. So we keep performing. We fake our confidence, our satisfaction, even our joy, because admitting the truth that we feel lost or tired or like something's missing feels like failure. But it's not failure. It's the beginning of awakening.
See, and I see this a lot in the art community. I meet all kinds of artists that tell me they're just doing fabulous, especially musicians. Musicians always tell me, "Oh yeah, I'm gigging every weekend, dude. I'm just rolling in dough." Okay? And some of these guys are not very good musicians. I know how they're rolling in the dough unless they're getting like 7 gigs a week. a gig every night and making $50 a gig. I don't know how they're doing it, but you see this all the time in the art community. Oh, my artwork is selling like crazy. It's selling like hotcakes.
Here's what I want you to hear. If something in your life feels fake, forced, or off, you're not broken. You're just waking up. You don't need permission. You don't need everyone to agree with your choices.
And I do agree with her here, because when I started to see the truth and I was red-pilled, you start to come out of the dream world and you go, oh, this is all baloney. I don't need any of this. And you start to walk away from it. And you start to realize a lot of the things you were chasing after were lies. That's all true. But I question, this video almost seems too good to be true. She's sitting in a garden area behind what I perceive to be her house. The birds are chirping. She's wearing a flower print dress of some sort. Almost too serene, too canned, too contrived, to be sincere. Almost like, was she propped up to try to turn people against American society? Because I question a lot of the people that are on YouTube now. I don't know where they've come from. We don't know who they are. We don't know their political affiliations. We don't know if they were funded by somebody else, just like these rioters, the most recent rioters for the No Kings riots. Those were all funded by some group.
You don't even need a flawless 5-year plan. What you need is honesty with yourself. Start by asking, whose rules am I following? What am I afraid will happen if I stop?
Ladies, listen up. The video showing the pink salt trick that melts belly fat while you sleep has already passed.
One thing you may not know about YouTube, if you're not a YouTuber like me, you pick where your ads appear in your videos. You can tell YouTube where you want your mid-rolled ads. You can tell them whether you want it monetized or not. Now, this woman is trying to plead to you and have you question your reality, question whose rules you're following. But she's still in the matrix. She's still following the rules of the matrix by having everything monetized, because you can't get through this life without money. You can't get through this life without some source of health care, unless you want to live a short life. Okay? I've got health conditions right now that if we didn't have health care, we'd be effed. Be completely effed, and I couldn't get the procedure I'm getting next week. So you've got to critically look at these videos and go, okay, here's a woman sitting in her backyard. The birds are chirping. There's tomato plants or something behind her. All kinds of greenery. She's got a nice little dress on, and she's speaking sincerely about you questioning the rules and the rule makers. But you're going to ask yourself a question. If you walk away from society like she's saying you should do, and step away from whose rules you are following, you've got to figure out how to do it on your own. You've got to figure out how to make money. You've got to figure out how to keep food on the table. You've got to figure out what's going to happen if you break your leg. Who's going to pay for that? It's not that simple. You can't just walk away from everything. You can't. It's impossible. You can do it. Sure, you can do it, but you may not live as long as you could if you stayed in the matrix. So you got to have a serious conversation with yourself and say, hey, maybe it's worth breaking away. I don't know.
Who's benefiting from me following these rules? And what would my life look like if I trusted myself? Because the truth is, no one has it all figured out. Not really. The people that...
But she's proclaiming that she has it all figured out because she's telling you how to live your life. She's maybe not telling you directly, but she's saying, hey, it's not that scary. And indirectly, she's saying it's not that scary. Just take a leap of faith and see what happens. So she's implying that she's figured it out. So she's telling you how to figure it out, because now she's sitting, looks like she's probably at the age of 60, sitting in a garden somewhere in the Midwest with the birds chirping. It doesn't work that way, guys. It just doesn't.
You think are doing it right, they're faking it too. You get to decide what success looks like for you, even if it doesn't involve the house or the husband or the high-powered job.
Now, that all I agree with. I mean, To be happy, you don't have to have the big job. You don't have to have a big house. I've always driven affordable cars. Always been a guy that, I wear comfortable shoes and I drive sensible cars. I've never been into cars. I've never understood investing a huge amount of money in it. So if you just want to drive a Kia Soul like I had for 5 years, it's a great little car. Got me where I needed to go. Great gas mileage. So in that respect, I agree with the message that you don't have to be pursuing all these big lofty things. You don't need the big house. You don't need the fancy car. You don't need the big bank account. It's smart to save some money, though. You don't have to be a billionaire. But think about this. My wife and I, when we first moved to Arizona, we were going to build a house. And there was a new development southeast of Phoenix, and it was this massive house. It was like a 3,000 square foot house with vaulted ceilings. And I walked into this house, the model house, and I said, you know what this means, these vaulted ceilings, is we've got to spend money to heat all of this space now. Vaulted ceiling over the living room and the great room has to be heated. It has to be cool. I'm sorry, not heated, but cooled down in 118 degree heat. It would cost us a fortune just in the utility bills alone. And it just didn't seem to be sensible. So you've got to think about those things.
For me, success is living in alignment with my values. It's having peace in my body and my home. It's the absence of drama and the absence of having to do something that I hate every day to survive. It's feeling proud of the life I'm creating, even if it makes no sense to anyone else. If you are starting to wake up to the fact that the life you've built doesn't actually feel like yours, even if you're already in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, you're not too late.
See, she just said her house, and she looked over our left and her right. So she obviously had enough money at some point in her life to finance or buy a house and have a yard with a garden in it. Guys, you can't get that stuff by breaking away from the system. You can't. There's no way anyone in this economy especially is going to rent you or have you finance a house unless you can pay for it in cash. So she's still in the matrix. How many advertisements have we seen in this video so far? We've seen 3 or 4. She's making money off of you and me. She's got a house. She's probably retired or near retirement age, and she's telling people in their 40s, 50s, or 60s that you can break away too. Okay, I'm almost 60. I can tell you right now, if my wife kicks me out the door today, let's say, whatever, let's say my wife didn't exist. I couldn't survive on what I do here. I make $45 a month on YouTube. 2 million views I've got over 10 years. Almost 10,000 subscribers. I don't make enough money to even fill the gas tank of my car. So how is somebody who's 60 years old just going to say, fuck it, I'm done with this system, I'm out of here. Let's figure out another way to do it. It's just not that simple.
You are right on time. You didn't waste your life. You were just gathering evidence that you needed to make a change.
And now what? You got evidence that we've all been lied to? Welcome to the club, buddy. We've all been lied to. We were sent down a bunch of rabbit holes chasing after the wind. And now what? What are you going to do at the age of 60? Just quit your job and live in this lady's backyard?
So, if the rules aren't working for you anymore, throw them out. Write new ones.
It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way, guys. It just doesn't. Write new rules? I mean, okay, go move into your car. Okay, I'm going to leave my wife tonight. I'm going to move into my Subaru. And then what? What am I going to do? I'll be panhandling on the street. I don't want to live a life like that. You can write all the new rules you want, but you may not live to see tomorrow once you move out of the house and quit your job. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. Life in this world isn't constructed that way. And unless you know how to live off the land, you're pretty much screwed. You got a 30-06, you know how to hunt bear, and you're living in Colorado, you might be okay. As long as you can, escape the law enforcement agency and the game warden for killing bear because you're killing them so you can eat. They're not going to care.
Ones that fit you. No one is going to come after you. There are no rule police. You get to make your own rules. Your real life is happening right now, and every day you're either making the most of it or you're wasting it by living according to someone else's rules. If this message resonated with you,
If this message resonated with you, thank you. I've now made $10 from you watching it.
invite you to subscribe to this channel and to my Substack.
I won't. I'm not going to subscribe to this lady, but I appreciate what she's trying to do. But in order to really listen to this message, you've got to look at the setting and the scenario and the message she's giving. If you're a 60-year-old man or woman and you hate this system and you know you've been lied to, and the previous 59 years of your life have been wasted listening to the rules and the regulations that the church taught you and that corporate America taught you and that TV shows and Hollywood taught you, what are you going to do about it? Okay? We all bought into the romantic idea of falling in love. We all bought into the erotic idea of finding well, especially men, we all think we're going to find this amazing erotic partner. We all think we're going to find this amazing job, and just because we work hard, show up early, and stay late, we're going to get promoted. We all think because we've got a YouTube channel, we're going to go viral and become millionaires. It's all a lie. It's designed to keep you in the system. Sure, okay. You divorce yourself from the system, then what? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? I'm not trying to be fatalistic, but you've got to understand there's certain needs and things you have to have in life to stay alive. Shelter, you need food, you need water. Okay, so this lady is sitting in her garden calmly telling you that the rules can be broken and we can have a revolution. That's all well said and done, but what are you going to do when you start your revolution? What if you're married and you say to your wife, hey, I'm done. I'm going to go out and live in my van and good luck with the kids. Well, that's not going to fly. You know she's going to hunt you down and try to get child support out of you. There's no easy way to deal with this. You have to figure out a way to deal with the reality of how you're going to survive. It's not as simple as just, thumbing your nose to the system and walking away. A lot of people do it. There's a lot of people living on the streets all over the country now. They're everywhere. Not by choice. Some of them are by choice, but some people lost their jobs or they get hopped up on drugs. They're hopped up on booze. There's a lot of people hustling each day. And I do mean hustling. I mean like turning tricks, that kind of hustling. They're independent hustlers. They're not being turned out. There's a lot of women that do it on OnlyFans and all these other places selling pictures of different body parts to try to make ends meet. But once you get into that scene, you're a slave to that scene, because it doesn't matter what you do on the internet. It doesn't matter if you're doing erotic productions or you're trying to sell, flower pots on eBay. You got to keep selling flower pots. You get sucked into one system, you get out of it, you have to go into another system, and you got to keep cranking out content. You need money to survive. If you're going to go live in your car out in Portside, Arizona with Bob Wells from Cheap RV Living, okay, you can live out there in the wintertime, but the summertime comes, you got to bug out of there because it gets so fucking hot in the summer in the desert in Portside, Arizona. That's out in western Arizona on border of California. It's blazing freaking hot out there in the summertime, so you got to go someplace else. What if your van breaks down? What if your Toyota Prius that you've turned into a camper breaks down and you're sitting there with your Chihuahua and you're in the middle of the Sonoran Desert in Arizona and you're fucked? What are you going to do then? You're going to wish your way out of it? I mean, the point is that, yeah, things are different. Things are weird. The system is rigged against us. You either kind of have to accept it and go on with your life and figure out a way to deal with it. You can't just, what did they say in the 60s? Tune in or drop out, tune in, stick it up your butt. I don't know what that Timothy Leary saying was. Let's look it up here before I finish this out. Tune in, drop out. Timothy Leary quote: tune in, turn on, baby. I love these old hippies. Everybody's like, oh man, this is so genius, man. Turn on, tune in, drop out.
Groovy, baby.
It's a phrase popularized by Timothy Leary in the 1960s, encouraging individuals to engage with their inner consciousness, connect with the world around them, and detach from societal norms. It reflects a counterculture movement aimed at personal growth and self-discovery.
Groovy, baby.
Yeah, baby. It didn't work quite that simply. You know. So let's end it with this. So you're 18 years old. Let's say now you're 60 like me, almost 60. Let's go back to 18. How would you live your life differently? I don't know. I've thought that over and over again. As I look back over my life, I was originally going to be an art teacher. Okay? But I don't know if that would have worked out. I've often thought I should have just been an art teacher. I should have just stuck to the art teacher thing. Okay. Let's go back in time. As I got older, I hated kids. I couldn't stand kids when I was teaching arts and crafts at a daycare center. I couldn't stand them. The 8th, 7th, and 8th graders were fucking little bastards. Drove me insane. So if I became a teacher, I probably would have quit that job. Or I would have gotten in trouble for smacking a kid or something. You know, not that I had any intentions of hurting children, but you know, every path that I look at back then, what if I just stayed in Athens, Ohio and lived off the land, you know, bought some land outside of town like my brother did? My brother and his wife did that for 30 years and then their marriage ended. Then what? You know, you know, there's no happy ending. There's no clear cut and concise way to live your life. And we live in a world, you need money to survive. And everything is expensive now. Everything is stacked against you. So where are you going to go? A dozen eggs is now $6 a dozen. Back in the day, you could buy a dozen eggs for like $1, and you could live off those eggs. You could have, you know, 12 meals from. I used to eat eggs a lot when I was single. I ate eggs and chicken breasts. You could buy 3 chicken breasts for like $3. Granted, this is 30 years ago, but now chicken breasts are like $12 for 3. So my point is, things are different. The system's rigged against us. And you say you want a revolution, but what are you going to do once it starts? Where are you going to go? You know, we're kind of trapped here. What are we going to do? Start a commune and live in the woods? Well, then there's a power structure within that commune. You know, you got a bunch of hippies living in the woods, smelling of patchouli and picking their toes with a stick. Some dude or some woman's going to stand up and say, I'm the boss, you got to live my way. That's what happens in all the cults. So you go off by yourself and you think, I'm going to be stoic and live by myself in a van by the river. You're not going to get lonely. You're not going to be desiring the companionship of whoever you're attracted to. Okay? You're just going to be this stoic Clint Eastwood type living in a van, just like, ugh. Look, everybody, I'm going to live my own. It doesn't work that way, guys. You're human. So I think the answer is you've got to accept the situation we're in. Make up your mind not to let it drive you crazy and try to navigate the murky waters of it. Because I don't see that people like this are going to give you peace of mind and show you the way out. She's somehow found a way to own a house and have a garden in a house in the Midwest somewhere. And I say the Midwest because it looks like similar foliage places out here in Ohio and Indiana and Pennsylvania. But she's got kind of a twang to her voice, so she's probably down south somewhere. But the whole thing is ridiculous. We're tortured. We're tormented people because we let them get out of control. We let the corporations run everything. Corporations run everything. We can't take over a corporation. We can't go up against these corporations. How are we going to do that? So let me know if you found a way to escape this whole crazy matrix that we live in. I try to help you escape and make you see that, number one, when you see somebody like this, you've got to really question the narrative and her message and her motive behind it. She's monetized a video. She's pulling in people like me that know life is a lie, that most of the things we pursue are complete lies, and they'll leave you empty at the end of your life. But she's making money off of it. Plain and simple. Her channel's monetized. She's got like, I don't remember how many viewers she has. She had like 16,000 viewers or something. She has 16,000 subscribers. So somehow she's getting this message monetized. I have the same messages, but they won't monetize my videos. They'll give me maybe one commercial per ad. How is that? How is that I'm making $43 a month and I bet you she's making twice that because she had at least three commercials in here. So the corporate world and the chat bot went, yeah, I like her message. Let's give her some money. Because YouTube is trying to steer everybody that's like me and her away from this platform because they want only advertiser-friendly material on here. So I don't know what the answers are, other than to try to make the most of what time we have left on here. So I'm PTPOP. Let me know if you found a way out of the matrix that makes sense. Have you moved into your car? Are you living in the woods? Are you in a homeless encampment down by the interstate? You know, what's the answer? I don't like it. My whole life, I've followed lie upon lie upon lie, and I've ended up here. Fortunately, I have a woman who married me and allows me to be the artist I am, but there's no telling how long that lasts. She could kick me out tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not an easy person to be around. Ask my siblings. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten stronger and bolder and more opinionated. And the corporate world doesn't like that. Corporate world doesn't want to hire me. I'm not a volatile person in the corporate world. I go to work and I'm quiet. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to make money and go home. I do what you tell me to do, and I hit the road. But I don't know what the answers are. If you've figured out the answers, if you think Midlife Anti-Crisis is, if you think she's telling you something that I'm missing, let me know. Let me know how you're going to buy a house and have a garden and be able to sit there and make YouTube videos for the rest of your life. All right, guys. I'm PTPOP. Have a good day the rest of the week. I'll see you on the other side of tomorrow. Bye.
Then I think I understand you now. Yes, I understand you now. Walk 1,000 miles in your shoes. My clothes are torn and tattered, my eagle boots. Then I think I understand you now.